we always talk about summer flying by. BNBL flies by too.
This is usually the most competitive game on the girls' side.
Watching the two teams warm up, it seems that they match up pretty well.
Straight to the basket. What a finish from Melvin Cuevas.
Big turnaround pass. Come back, hit a three, get a three-point game.
Nice up and under move. Basket and the foul. Howard quickly down the other end. Gonna try for a dunk, and he puts it home. The Showstoppers win the 2019 BNBL Championship. Hello everybody, welcome to the Tynan Community Center in South Boston as we bring you a girls matchup in the 18 and under division of the Boston Neighborhood Basketball League, as tonight Leahy-Holloran takes on the Tynan. Hello everybody, I'm Pat Flaherty. Tonight I'm joined by my partner, Seth Orensky. Again, folks, we're trying to be 6 feet apart, trying to do everything right here, so this looks a little funky, but we're trying to be safe, and that's what we're trying to do all summer long. We're at the Tynan Community Center, Seth, and as we just found out, this is really the only site that's doing girls 18 and under basketball in this 2021 Boston Neighborhood Basketball League season.
Yeah, you talk about funky. The Tynan, typically a pretty good team here at the 18 and under at their site. They're 0-3. They've been getting beat up by 50, 60 points, but Leahy-Holloran just added to the group, so they haven't played a game. These two teams know each other really well. They play CYO against each other during the winter, and they're almost rivals, and we saw it. They're good friends, but a little bit of pushing and shoving at half court before the game, smiles afterwards. There's no animosity, but this should be a much closer game than we've seen thus far out of the Tynan side.
And then, of course, because this is the only 18 and under section in Boston Neighborhood Basketball this summer, we could be seeing a team that might be in the BNBL championships later on in the year.
100%. There's only 5 teams. Thus far, 3 of them have beaten Tynan, but this is the Tynan team we've seen before. They're gritty, they're scrappy. They don't have their full roster today, but they've made it to a championship game before, and that's a group that has been continuing to grow under Allison Baker.
No question. We're just about set to go here at the Tynan Community Center in South Boston. The Tynan taking on Leahy-Holloran. And Tynan in the blue jerseys with the white trim. Meanwhile, it's Leahy-Holloran in the yellow jerseys.
And Pat, having seen the Tynan team before, they're down a couple of their better players, but Mary-Kate Hart and Tegan Fitzgerald, certainly 2 of the players that we've seen before who a little bit more experienced, a little bit more skilled. Look for those players to try to set the tone early.
Ball's batted around. Looks like Tynan controls the opening possession. That's Fitzgerald coming away with the loose ball. And then it's Caitlin Fitzgerald losing it out of bounds.
Yeah, it's actually Caitlin, not Tegan, that we've seen excel. Although her sister Tegan, another quality player.
And looks like we have a baseline violation. That's going to go back to the Tynan. A couple of teams had to switch some things around here at the Tynan tonight. There were some forfeits. It's just part of BNBL. Kids go on vacation, families go on vacation, they got summer school. It has been a crazy 16 months, to say the least, as a three-pointer is knocked down that time by Mariah Washington to get scoring going for the Tynan.
I like this move from Paul Duffy. His team definitely giving up some size. Starting in the 2-3 zone, you're going to give up some open 3 looks, but it'll help with their defensive rebounding.
Nice feed inside, and I think we got a 3-second violation on Leahy-Holloran. It's too bad. It was a nice dump-down pass underneath. I think it was Ava Daly who was camping out in the paint.
Yeah, Daly there just a second too long, but that's what you want to do, even though you're giving up some size. Get some of those looks inside, and they're able to force a turnover. I think it was Maeve Doherty who had that really nice pocket pass down low for Daly.
18 and under division, so 20-minute halves in this one. Another good interior pass, but Emma Pescia just couldn't hang on to it, so that's going to go back to the Tynan.
Both of these teams only have 7 players available today when their roster is 12, 14 deep, so some quality players available. You're going to see some younger players having to step up into bigger roles.
Mary Kay coming up with the steal. Or excuse me, that's Fitzgerald coming up with the steal. Elbow jumper off the mark that time from the Tynan, but that's off of Pescia, so that's going to stay with the Tynan. Off the up fake. Caitlin Fitzgerald around the rim and out. Washington with the offensive rebound, and she's going to head to the free throw line.
Really like what I've seen thus far out of Mariah Washington. Knocked down a three early. She kept that possession alive by fighting for the offensive rebound, and that time just got good inside position. She airballs the first free throw, but outside of that, it's looked very good here in the opening 3 minutes.
Washington unable to hit the first. Rattles home the second, so a 4-0 lead here for Tynan. 3 minutes gone by in the first half. Foul at the top of the key there by the Tynan. Looked like that one was on Caitlin Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and if you're Leahy-Holran, clearly giving up a little bit of size, but also a little bit of length, you really have to use the ball to help you get some space offensively.
Three ball off the mark that time from Rachel Griffin, and that's going to stay with Leahy-Holran.
I think it was Pessia who has been very scrappy down low, who was able to draw that foul. Good position again.
Pessia now at the free throw line. Going to shoot two for Leahy-Holran, no good on the first.
Get some encouragement from some of her teammates. I was thinking about a game like this is where everyone's friends. You can kind of laugh off some of those mistakes.
Pessia no good on both at the free throw line. Leahy-Holran still looking for their first basket of the ball game. Right now, the Tynan looking to add to their lead. Mary Kate well off the mark that time with the three. Leahy-Holran moving the ball well so far. As that gets knocked out of bounds, that's going to go back to the Tynan.
Yeah, just a little bit too focused on getting to the rim there. Double team came over and player was unable to control the dribble.
Tegan Fitzgerald back to the corner. Mary Kate from the corner buries the three. Mary Kate Hart knocking down the trifecta. So Tynan with 2 threes to kick things off here. Their only field goal so far.
Great job of making the extra pass, then the extra pass. Fitzgerald passed up a three, found an even better look for Mary Kate Hart.
Nice drive there from Maeve Doherty. She's going to head to the free throw line.
And not that you're too worried about foul trouble in a summer league game, but that's already 2 fouls on Caitlin Fitzgerald. The only 2 fouls thus far called on Tynan.
And Doherty knocks home the first points of the ball game for Leahy-Holran. They got to be feeling good about that. It's always tough when you don't score a bucket in the first couple of minutes. You keep looking at that 0 up on the scoreboard. Good pass up the floor, shot off the mark. Rebound comes down to Leahy-Holran's Ava Duffy. Good steal that time from Fitzgerald up to her sister Tegan Fitzgerald, and she's going to head to the free throw line herself.
Yeah, it was a good effort by Leahy-Holran's Ava Daly, but in the end, she was never going to quite catch up with Tegan Fitzgerald. A really easy call for the referees.
You see the replay that time as Tegan Fitzgerald getting fouled on her way to the bucket. This is the second free throw as well. Still a 5-point lead here for the Tynan. 7 minutes gone by here in the first half. Caitlin Fitzgerald with another steal. Looking up the floor. Washington off the up fake. Can't score off the window. Pessia with the rebound, and now we got some traffic at half court. Here comes Mary Kate Hart. Inside to Fitzgerald. Can't kiss it off the glass, and there's a fight for the loose ball. It's going to be a jump ball.
Ava Duffy was the player who caught that ball, immediately turned, and I think her chin might have connected with the player's shoulder. She was out that entire play, kind of focused on the paint and still grimacing.
That ball gets knocked out of bounds, going to stay with Leahy-Holran.
Really like what Rachel Griffin's trying to do. She's able to get around her defender, but instead of looking to take the shot herself, always trying to dish it to one of her teammates playing on the block. That's a high-quality shot if you can force that ball in there.
Sarah Day now in for the Tynan. Off the inbounds pass, Leahy-Holran finally gets it in. Nice pass underneath, and they're able to score the bucket.
Emma Pessia finding Ava Daly. Pessia with an assist now to go along with their 5 rebounds in the first 8+ minutes.
3 ball from Hart. Off the mark that time. Good job she's on the rebound that time by Sarah Day. Hart now trying to go to the bucket, and she gets fouled on her way to the rim. And no, she lost that. Traveling violation there for Hart.
I think she did get fouled, but it came after she had already been whistled for the travel.
Several violations on that play.
So it'll be interesting to see how Leahy-Holran does on the boards now with Emma Pessia sitting, Lauren Dillon on for the first time.
It's a traveling violation on Ava Duffy.
Ava was frustrated there, but you just can't put your head down. She was so focused on what she was going to do. She didn't recognize that she'd drawn 3 defenders. That's when you have to pass.
Fitzgerald trying to feed it inside today, but it's poked away that time by Leahy-Holran. Here comes Rachel Griffin back down the other end. A little strong on that one. Put back no good for Leahy-Holran. Goes out of bounds. That looked like it was off Tynan, but they're going to give it back to Tynan.
Yeah, that was I was so happy with what Griffin has done as a facilitator, and then it's a 3-on-1, and she takes the shot herself. It ended up as an offensive rebound, but that's the time where you draw the defender, easy kick, easy layup, and you're back within 2.
Washington knocking down her second trifecta of the first half. She's now got 7 points to lead all scorers.
She's the only player who's had the shooting touch today. She and Mary Kate Hart have hit 3 threes.
Stolen away that time by Caitlin Fitzgerald. She's got a couple of steals so far in the first half. Trying to go all the way to the bucket. Tegan Fitzgerald now back up to Washington with a heat check. Washington with their 3rd 3 from downtown. It's now a 9-point lead for the Tynan.
Yeah, it was a long 2. I think the one referee said 3, the other ruled him off. She clearly had a foot on the line that time.
So an 8-point lead for the Tynan here. 9:30 left to go in the first half. Deflection that time by Mary Kate Hart. Now we have a foul on the inside. So Mary Kate Hart with the block. We get a foul, I believe, on Leahy-Holran.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Ava Daly for a loose ball foul. And I think Leahy-Holran going to use that first time out here the first half. First off, both teams need to use their timeouts to kind of reset their teams, because with only 7, you're going to be worried that some of those players who are playing the majority of the 20 minutes, if not the whole 20 minutes, need a rest. But second off, Leahy-Holran did a great job after going down 7-0 of kind of getting back into the game, being aggressive, and then they let up a 3. They let up a 3 and then a long 2 to Mariah Washington, but they're also starting to force shots.
Right.
This is a smaller team, so it's easy to just think, oh, we'll take a perimeter shot. But Tynan's not giving them anything. Tynan is aggressively defending the perimeter. They've got to make that extra pass, not try to play iso ball, and hope that their ability to play 5 players offensively can help. The other thing is it'll help when they get a player like Maeve Doherty back out there who's looked really good. She went to the bench, and the team struggled a little bit more offensively.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's that go-to player to kind of, when things are stuck in mud, you can just give this player the basketball and let them create right now for Leahy-Holran.
Yeah, and that's the tough part when you've got a roster of 12 girls and you only have 7 available.
That was off of Leahy-Holran. That'll stay with the Tynan. Meanwhile, several players have really kind of taken the reins so far for the Tynan. Mary-Kate Hart. Caitlin Fitzgerald's probably been the best player so far. Hart from the corner off the mark with the 3, but the best scorer is Washington. Unable to put that one home. Washington very active so far underneath. She might have just gotten whistled for the foul, however.
Yeah, but that's the good type of aggressiveness. Mariah Washington crashing the boards, keeping the possession going, almost got another 2 points. For my money, she's been the best player because she's the player who's looking for her own shot offensively. I mean, Tynan's played really good defense and been good in transition, but haven't been able to really create in the half court.
Nice little give and go play that time from Ava Daly, but she was unable to hit it underneath. Fitzgerald, beautiful pass down the other end, but Hart couldn't convert.
Yeah, Hart needed to just slow down a little bit there. She had more time than she thought.
Fitzgerald off the steal, looking for Hart, top of the key. Hart off the fake, couldn't finger roll it in. Offensive rebound and putback is good that time by Brenna Hines from the Tynan.
Yeah, first time we've called Brenna's name. That was good inside position and a strong finish.
Washington coming away with the steal. So Washington and Fitzgerald all over the perimeter. Great turnovers. Here comes Caitlin Fitzgerald off the up fake, trying to go baseline, looking to feed inside. Hart thought about a 3, over to Fitzgerald, long 2, well off the mark. And the rebound comes down to Pesia.
Mary-Kate Hart with the steal.
Goes all the way in for the bucket.
Yeah, Hart just able to pick the pocket of a Leahy-Holloran player. And Pat, it's really interesting what Tynan is doing with Caitlin Fitzgerald. She's essentially playing the safety role, playing in the middle of what's a little bit looking like a 2-3 zone. And anything that gets by a defender, she's immediately going to clean up.
Washington off the steal. Hart. Good swing of the basketball. Washington for 3, off the mark that time.
I mean, I would be really surprised if Caitlin plays center for her high school team, but she clearly has the ability to stick with some of those guards, to stick with some of the bigger players, and she's a good rebounder. Be interesting to see what happens right now with Washington and Fitzgerald going to the bench if Leahy-Holloran can make a mini run.
Nice drive to the basket that time as Maeve Daugherty gets clotheslined on her way to the rim. She's going to get 2 free throws.
Yeah, Sarah Day was taking a crack at that roll in the middle of the defense and not quite fast enough to get the block.
Daugherty now 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Got a nice stroke.
Yeah, looks confident out there. 3 of the team's 5 points.
Knocks down the second. So Maeve Daugherty 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Now we get a steal here, or almost a steal from Leahy-Holloran.
Not only 4 for 4, but I don't think she's touched the rim. Every single free throw has been very clean.
Tegan Fitzgerald with the rebound underneath. Tegan now with a long 2 as she rattles it home.
Yeah, Tegan Fitzgerald has done a great job of being an extra contributor on this group. We knew coming in that Mary-Kate Hart and Caitlin Fitzgerald would be big players, having seen them in the past, but Tegan's really upped her game since the last time we saw this team in 2019.
They ruled that a 3 for Tegan Fitzgerald. So it's a 13-point lead for the Tynan. That one goes out of bounds, back to the Tynan.
It's one of the few open 3-point looks for Leahy-Holloran, and unfortunately Ava Duffy hit the side of the rim there and bounces out of bounds.
We got a 3-second violation inside on the Tynan.
I think that's going to be Brenna Hines. Leahy-Holloran, despite being down 13, has done a good job of just staying in this game. It doesn't feel like they're out of it in any way. Nice
give and go from Pesia, but she was unable to hit the layup underneath. And now we get a foul down low. I think that's going to be on Sarah Day. So it'll be Ava Duffy at the free throw. No, they're going to rule it a common foul. So Tegan Fitzgerald knocks it out of bounds. That'll stay with Leahy-Holran. Substitution for the Tynan as Caitlin Fitzgerald and Mariah Washington come back in.
Pat, I really like some of these offensive sets that Leahy-Holran has been using. They clearly are a team that knows each other. They do a lot of those cuts to the basket, and those players are wide open. They got to hit a couple more of these layups, but they easily could have another 6 or 8 points on layups wide open in the lane.
Caitlin Fitzgerald tried for a pass on the break, but couldn't quite see her teammate. Leahy-Holran now back down the other end. And Fitzgerald's going to be whistled for the foul at half court. Sort of probably a frustration foul there for Caitlin Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that's going to be 3 now on Caitlin Fitzgerald. But Caitlin went down trying to make that pass. She collided with Rachel Griffin. Rachel helps her up. They're smiling, they're laughing, and then she tries to get back in the play. It is just a little bit late there going for the steal.
Millie Hines now in for the Tynan. And a good rejection inside that time by Tegan Fitzgerald. Doherty wide open underneath.
Another really good find there down low.
And a steal and layup again for Leahy-Holran, as that looks like it's Ava Duffy with the basket. So all of a sudden it's back down to single digits. Put back no good that time from Tegan Fitzgerald, but she gets fouled on the way up. She'll get 2 free throws, but 4 quick points there for Leahy-Holran, and all of a sudden this double-digit lead shrinks, and you probably feel a little bit better about yourself if you're Leahy-Holran.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to see a couple shots go down. They've had some decent looks at the basket. On the other side, Tegan Fitzgerald might be the story for me, just in terms of she's definitely been on the team in the past, but this is the most impressive we've seen her, most aggressive we've seen her as well. Really looking for her own shot.
Fitzgerald knocks down the second, so back to a double-digit lead for Tynan. 20-10 here with just under 2 minutes left to go in the first half.
Lauren Dillon, the ball handler right here, has made a couple of nice passes. She had the inbounds pass for the easy bucket. She's done a great job with Rachel Griffin on the bench.
Wide open underneath and converting the layup once again is Ava Duffy.
That wasn't a pass, but Sarah Young will still get credit for it.
That's right, we'll call it a pass. Back to an 8-point lead for the Tynan. Fitzgerald again on the drive. That time couldn't convert off the window. Here comes Duffy off the rebound. She's got a 3-on-1. She's going to take it herself. And it was knocked out of bounds. That'll stay with Leahy-Holran here. 1:10 left to go in the half.
Second 3-on-1 of the game, and the second time the ball handler hasn't looked to pass. That's criminal in basketball. If you got a 3-on-1, you got to pass. I mean, the new thing is find a wide open 3-point shooter and just find them in transition. But that's a situation where I know what Ava Duffy's trying to do. She's trying to get her team back into the game. She's one of the team's better players, but have trust in your teammates. I mean, you think about just those 2 possessions alone, it could be a 4-point game.
That's right. Well, I think right now that's why you got Coach Duffy calling a timeout.
It was actually Tynan feeling the pressure. They used their timeout.
Oh, it was Tynan, excuse me, because I was going to say, you're Leahy-Holran, you have the ball, you have an out-of-bounds set play where you can cut this down to 6 or maybe even 5 with just a minute left to go. Let's take another replay on this drive here.
Yeah, and Duffy maybe a little bit unlucky to get no free throws out of that. Mary Kate Hart looked like she got a lot of ball, maybe a little bit of the body. Typically when you come down across, you're likely to get called for the foul. But this is a tough spot for Tynan. With Caitlin Fitzgerald, one of their better defensive players, their ball handler out, this is really a chance for Leahy-Holran to continue to cut into this lead.
We'll see what Leahy-Holran does off the inbounds pass here.
They've been good on out-of-bounds plays, especially out of a timeout. They could draw something up, maybe get an easy look.
She had a shot there for a second off the inbounds pass. Off the up fake. Elbow jumper off the mark that time. Here comes Washington back down the other end. Looking for Hart. Mary Kate carving out some space. A little bit of contact. Here comes Doherty back down the other end. Doherty up the floor. And layup is not converted that time by Rachel Griffin. Here comes Fitzgerald.
Another really good look. That time Doherty giving up the basketball, and that's going to be 2 points more often than not.
Here comes Rachel Griffin off the rebound. 30 seconds left to go in the half. Griffin can't convert off the window. Good offensive rebound inside, and Doherty once again headed to the charity stripe.
And who else do you want at the free throw line than the player who's a perfect 4 for 4 and just looks so calm and collected at the free throw line?
Doherty right now with 6 points to lead Leahy-Holloran.
Almost jinxed her.
Yeah, I was going to say announcer jinx. I did that last week at the Tobin.
But yeah, I mean, you look at NBA superstars. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo doesn't look very confident at the free throw line. Maeve Doherty makes it look so easy.
Doherty 6 for 6 now from the stripe. 6-point lead for the Tynan. 20 seconds left to go in the half. Hart knocks down the three. The three ball has been the friend of the Tynan here in the first half.
That is 4 threes already. 2 threes for Hart, actually 5 threes. 2 for Hart, 2 for Washington, and 1 for Tegan Fitzgerald. That's a huge difference in this game.
Turnover at the top of the key. Here comes Doherty. Who else? Back down the other end, off the steal, converts the layup just before the end of the half, it looks like.
I don't know if Maeve knew how little time she had, but she was literally getting to the basket with about 2 seconds. That basket should count. It should be a 23-16 game, but it was very close to being a little bit late, and that's a huge basket. You hate to give up the 3, but getting those 2 back is huge to give you a little confidence heading into the half.
No question. They did give her the basket here at the end of the half, so 23-16 at the half here for the Tynan with a 7-point lead over Leahy-Holloran. And we mentioned it before, Tynan got it up to, I think, at least 12, a 12-point lead, maybe 13.
16-4.
Exactly. And then you thought this game might have gotten away from Leahy-Holloran, but as you mentioned, they were running good sets. And then if they could just convert a few more shots, they're right back in it. And now it's a 7-point lead.
Foul trouble could be an issue for Tynan. I mean, when you lose Fitzgerald with those 3 fouls, immediately you saw Leahy-Holloran more confident getting to the basket because Sarah Fitzgerald has been so good at getting blocks, getting steals. Take her out of the game, it's a little bit more of an even game on offense for Leahy-Holloran, and they've been taking advantage. Couple of shots going their way or a couple threes not falling for Tynan, and this could easily get back to a one-possession game.
Absolutely. We'll see if Leahy-Holloran can convert some of these shots in the second half. Meanwhile, for Tynan, you mentioned it before, really knocking it down from the three-point line, especially Washington, but Hart, Fitzgerald, you got a few players here who can really knock them down from deep.
I thought we knew what to expect out of Tynan because we've seen this team before, but I've been really impressed by Mariah Washington and the play of Tegan Fitzgerald. I think we've seen Tegan as a little bit younger player who wasn't as confident, but she looks really confident, is playing well both down low and from beyond the arc. And Mariah Washington looking for her own shot, and it's been impressive. 2 threes and another would-be 3 where she had her foot on the line.
Absolutely. So those players have been fun to watch here in the first half. We'll see if those three-point shots continue to get knocked down in the second half because that's really been the lifeblood of the Tynan. They get a 7-point lead over Leahy-Holloran here at the half at the Tynan Community Center. Folks, going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the start of the second half here of the girls 18 and under division in the Boston Neighborhood Basketball League right after these messages. Don't go away.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included, and I knew that I was going to be okay.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. Going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that? I'm playing with these new face filters. Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine. But I need that back. No. Kevin!
Welcome back to the Tynan Community Center in South Boston for a girls 18 and under basketball game in the Boston Neighborhood Basketball League. It's the Tynan on top of Leahy-Holloran, 23-16. Now at the start of the second half as Tynan with the basketball. Shot no good that time from Tegan Fitzgerald. Corner three from Mary Kate Hart is good.
Mary Kate started slow. That's her third three. I think it might be her third three in a row. And again, that's now 6 threes. 18 of their 26 points for Tynan have come from beyond the arc.
Going to work inside, but not converting is Ava Duffy.
That was really good defense from Mariah Washington. A good move from Duffy. Just couldn't quite finish, but Washington, hard defense without fouling. That's huge.
Tie up at half court. I think it's going to be on Doherty. Mary Kate Hart now with 11 points, the first player in double digits for this one.
And Kate,
3 from behind the arc.
Caitlin Fitzgerald back out there with those 3 fouls. The team just seems to move a lot better with her, and they play much better defense.
Hart looking for Fitzgerald inside. Nice little cut that time from Tegan Fitzgerald, but she couldn't convert underneath.
It's a great look from Caitlin Fitzgerald.
We've seen both teams have some nice half-court offensive sets throughout this game, like you mentioned in the first half, especially, Seth, with Leahy-Holloran, but we're also seeing it now from the Tynan as well.
Both of these teams have played together for a while. They know each other really well, and the problem playing in such a limited 18 and under like this year, where there's only 5 teams, is they're really outmanned when they play some of the other teams. Showstoppers is in this group. I mean, Pat, you and I have been watching the Showstoppers for years.
That's right.
They're pretty darn good, and they're bigger and faster and a little bit more skilled. So this is a matchup where you can execute some of those sets because you can actually get the ball into the half court. You can move the ball a little bit. It's much tougher when you're playing players who are 6'2", 6'4", where it's impossible to even get the ball into the lane.
That was Rachel Griffin with a laser of a pass to underneath the basket, but Doherty couldn't convert. Fitzgerald now heading to the basket, and it gets knocked away from her off of Leahy-Holloran, so stay with Tynan. Fitzgerald over to Washington. She fires up another three. That one no good. Hart coming away with the rebound. Hart losing it on the way up, and that's going to stay with Tynan.
Yeah, this has been a very long defensive possession for Leahy-Holloran. Feels like they need to get a stop just so they can cut back into this 10-point deficit.
Here comes Duffy, back down the other end. Had a teammate, goes up and gets fouled, but like you mentioned, a few of these players, you know, they come down on the break and their head's just not up.
Yeah, Ava Duffy got really lucky because if this court was another 5 feet longer, I think Caitlin Fitzgerald pokes that away from behind. Instead, she just picked up her 4th foul, and that's huge because she hasn't been the big-time scorer in this game. Her stat line isn't overly impressive, but she's really what makes this team go. And I'm not sure if head coach Allison Baker is going to take her now or maybe in a possession or two, but I mean, that's huge to potentially lose her for any significant amount of time.
Fitzgerald off the up fake, looking for Washington. Ball sails through Washington's hands, so that'll go back to Leahy-Holloran.
And in comes Lauren Dillon for Leahy-Holloran. We didn't see Dillon in the first half play alongside Griffin. Those are their 2 ball handlers. This might help them a little bit with getting some better looks as Pesia, their big-time rebounder, heads to the bench.
Doherty off the up fake. Long two, can't get that one to go. Rebound comes down to Tegan Fitzgerald. Tegan with a wide open look there for Caitlin Fitzgerald, and she buries the jumper.
We've been seeing a lot of the opposite where it's Caitlin feeding Tegan. But that was a nice look and a great baseline jumper.
Washington chasing after the loose ball. Fitzgerald is able to hang on to possession, but then it's a backcourt violation on Tynan. So that'll go back to Leahy-Holran. 10-point lead here for Tynan, coming up on 5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Another turnover that time from Leahy-Holran.
Yeah, Ava just put her head down there, expecting to be able to get to the hoop, and that was just too easy for Mariah Washington.
Hart back irons that corner three, and Doherty gets tied up. It's going to be a jump ball that'll go back to Leahy-Holran. Tynan got the jump ball in the first half.
And the big thing here for Leahy-Holran that they were doing, and late in the first half they haven't been doing, is they're not making those cuts, they're not making those extra passes, they're trying to kind of go one-on-one.
Foul at the top of the key that time, as Duffy was making her move to the basket. Substitution as Pessia comes back in.
And I think Ava Duffy is definitely capable of getting to the hoop, but she's facing one of the better man-to-man defenders, and a couple times we've seen her just put her head down and not really focus on her teammates.
Washington coming away with the rebound. We get another tie-up, but that's going to go back to the Tynan.
Really good performance thus far by Mariah Washington. 9 points, 6 rebounds. And has just done a nice job of extending some offensive possessions with her ability to rebound. Also played great defense.
Fitzgerald corner jumper, buries her second one. So Fitzgerald went scoreless in the first half. Now 2 for 2 from the perimeter. She's got 4 points for the Tynan, and they have a 12-point lead.
Yeah, she waited till she got her 4th foul to actually get her offense going.
Substitution for the Tynan, as it's Millie Hines coming back in. Hart trying for another three and gets it to go. That's her 4th 3-ball of the game. She now leads all scorers with 14 points.
Mary Kate got here about 30 minutes before anybody else was in the gym and was just taking jumpers with Allison Baker rebounding for her. She missed a lot of shots, but clearly it helped her get her confidence up.
Fitzgerald off the steal, couldn't hit the layup. And here comes Duffy back down the other end. Trying to dribble through traffic. They're going to whistle Washington for the foul. That looked like a clean steal that time, but
it's now 3 on Washington. Duffy got away with that one because, again, she's just keeping her head down. And I think that's the biggest thing if Ava can work on that in her game, her court awareness, because she's clearly one of their better players. She's a strong defender, a good rebounder, has the capability to score, but a couple times she just gets too focused on her own move.
Duffy now heads to the bench, probably needs a breather as Ava Daly now in for Leahy-Holran. That's going to be a turnover on the Tynan.
And at 15 points with the deficit, if you're Leahy-Holran, you've got to get some offense going sooner rather than later.
Steal at the half court that time from Tegan Fitzgerald, and she scores the layup.
There was just no movement there on offense. It was Griffin dribbling, looking for someone, but no one moved, and made it really difficult on her, especially against one of the better defenders for this Tynan team.
17-point lead now for the Tynan, as they've gone on a nice run here in the second half. Pessia couldn't hang on to it. That'll go back to the Tynan. 11 minutes left to go here in the first half. Tynan on top of Leahy-Holran, 35-18. here in the second half in the girls 18 and under division. There you see Tegan Fitzgerald on the putback.
And Pat, Allison Baker talked about the first 3 games they were losing by 40, 50, 60 points against some of these top teams. On the other side, Leahy-Holloran played in their first game of the summer. I wonder how much those first 3 games helped this Tynan team. When everything's difficult, when you start to play an easier opponent, all of a sudden things seem easy, and it's really seemed like they're just a step bit more confident, more aggressive in this game.
Jumper from the top of the key off the mark that time for Leahy-Holloran. Here comes Fitzgerald. Tegan Fitzgerald thought about a 3. Washington off the up fake. No good on that trifecta. Washington's had a tough time shooting here in the second half after a very good first half. Rejected that time from Tegan Fitzgerald. It's going to stay with Leahy-Holloran, but Fitzgerald coming up with the swat.
Yeah, and these aren't necessary subs if you're Leahy-Holloran. You get Maeve Doherty back out there. You get Ava Duffy back out there. 2 of your better scorers. Got to go on a little bit of a run right now to get back into this game.
Doherty looking inside. It gets knocked out of bounds by Hart and Fitzgerald. Ava Doherty finds the loose ball, scores the open layup, ends the drought there for Leahy-Holloran.
Yeah, Maeve Doherty has a little bit of everything in her offensive repertoire. We've seen her take a couple jump shots, hasn't been successful, but good at the free throw line, confident with her layups, and going to need a little bit more of that here in the next probably 4 to 5 minutes. You're down 17. Can you cut it to 8 by the 5-minute mark?
Doherty now with 12 points to lead Leahy-Holloran. Duffy thought about a step back 3. Now it's back up top to Leahy-Holloran. Ball goes out of bounds. Going to go back to the Tynan.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there, as the player on the near side just wasn't expecting the pass. Thought it was for another teammate, and the ball comes out.
Fitzgerald back to Hart. Hart fires up another 3. That one no good. Good rebound inside that time by Ava Daly.
And I think the referee there called that because it's a 17-point game, Tynan has to get back behind the half court, so there's no tie-up. It just stays with Leahy-Holloran.
Duffy, top of the key, cannot knock down the 3. That hit every part of the rim but didn't go down. Fitzgerald comes up with the loose ball. Tegan looking for Caitlin Fitzgerald. Lefty lay-in, no good. Duffy looking for an opening. Lead pass up the floor, and Pessia was looking for Doherty, but that's going to go back to the Tynan as Tegan Fitzgerald came up with the steal.
That was a great behind-the-back dribble by Ava Duffy with 2 players around her to create some space.
Fitzgerald unable to hit the elbow jumper. Washington working hard down low, couldn't convert. Comes up with the offensive rebound once again. Hart on the drive. She's going to get 2 from the charity stripe.
Really good possession if you're tying in there. Couple of good looks, really aggressive on the offensive board, just not giving up. I mean, yes, you've got a decent lead. This is the strong move from Hart. Draws some contact on the body there.
And Hart no good on her first free throw attempt. Substitution for the Tynan as Sarah Day and Brenna Hines come back in.
Yeah, Tegan Fitzgerald and Mariah Washington, who've both been fantastic in this game, earn a rest.
Hart 0 for 2 from the free throw line. Still a 17-point lead for the Tynan. 6.5 minutes left to go here in the second half. Doherty banks home a 3 from the corner. So Maeve Doherty continuing her scoring binge here for Leahy-Holloran. She's got 15.
Yeah, it feels like the bank might be closed after 6:30, but able to get the kiss there. And that was another good offensive look for Maeve Doherty.
Fitzgerald unable to convert that time off the window. Duffy looking for a 3 ball. Boy, she's been so close on a handful of threes throughout this game, just hasn't been able to get one to go down.
Yeah, it really feels like she's unlucky at this point because she's had back-to-back looks where it looked like it should go down. It hit every part of the rim, and unfortunate because they're still right on the edge of getting back into this game. A couple threes, and it's a single possession game.
That goes off the foot of Hart and back to Leahy-Holran. Off the spin move, Duffy trying to go with the lefty lane. She's going to get 2 from the stripe.
That was a really nice move. She knew that she was immediately going to have the defender on her back, spun her baseline, and then a strong take. I've been kind of critical of Ava kind of putting her head down a couple times, but that's a really good move because it's an instantaneous move, and with Washington not on her, she's got a better chance to get to the basket.
Duffy 2 for 2 from the free throw line, cuts it down to a 12-point lead here for Leahy-Holran. One of the toughest things about BNBL, however, is when you're trailing, and normally you want to go to the free throw line, it stops the clock, but it's running time here in the BNBL until the last minute. So you see Maeve Doherty back down the other end, converts the wide open layup, cuts the lead down to 10. We'll see if Leahy-Holran can go on a run here. Gets knocked out of bounds back to.
That looked like it should have been Tynan ball, but I think they gave it to Leahy-Holran.
They did give it to Leahy-Holran. You're correct. And Leahy-Holran takes a timeout, or excuse me, the Tynan take a timeout here. 4:04 left to go. And if you're head coach Allison Baker for the Tynan, you're saying, okay, we still got a 10-point lead, still 4 minutes left, and this Leahy-Holran team's chipping away again. You know, we saw this a little bit in the first half. We're seeing it again here in the second.
Well, the big question if you're Allison Baker is, do you and when do you bring on Tegan Fitzgerald and Mariah Washington? Because those are 2 of your starters, right. 2 of your kind of core 4, I would say, between Mary Kate Hart, Tegan Fitzgerald, Mariah Washington, and Caitlin Fitzgerald, the players who made the biggest impact. 2 of them are on the bench. That's essentially sitting your starters, resting your starters at the end of the game because there's only 2 bench players, only 7 players available. And immediately you're seeing better matchups for Ava Duffy, more space for Maeve Doherty on the opposite end. Allison Baker could continue to sit those players and trust in her group. But I think if this gets down to 6, maybe 4, you're going to see Mariah Washington and Tegan Fitzgerald back out there because they're huge players on both sides. As good as they've been offensively, they're also great rebounders, and they're really good one-on-one defenders.
Scramble for the loose ball that time. Picking it up, but unable to score. Second time is a charm. However, there for, it looks like Ava Daly converting off the window.
That's a great job by Ava Daly, fighting for the loose ball, followed up her own rebound, and a calm finish using the glass.
Hart looking for Fitzgerald inside. Caitlin Fitzgerald burying another jumper.
Caitlin Fitzgerald is so confident in her jumper that she actually took herself further away from the basket there, and she's now drained 3 jumpers here in the second half, all that are mid-range, maybe even deep 2s, and just clearly that's a big part of her offensive game.
That extended Tynan's lead back to a double-digit 10-point lead. Nice cut that time from Doherty. Pass a little too firm inside, and Doherty throws it off of Daly.
Yeah, if Daly had not put so much zip behind it, it might have been an easy layup for Doherty. Instead, they still have possession, clock under 3 minutes, need to get a bucket.
Looking for Duffy inside, and that's going to stay with Leahy-Holran. Hessia getting tied up underneath. Fitzgerald getting in there. Jump ball, it's going to stay with Leahy-Holran. And Duffy getting fouled again off the inbounds pass. She's going to get 2 more free throws. That one almost went in.
The problem is with the clock not stopping for this free throw, 40 seconds have already come off the clock here, and she hasn't even taken the first of her 2 free throws. This has been a long possession, down 10.
And she's unable to hit the first. Substitution, there you go, Seth. Tegan Fitzgerald and Mariah Washington coming back in for Tynan to kind of close things out here. They do stop the clock with 2 minutes left in the second half, as opposed to 1 minute in the first half, as there you see Duffy going 0 for 2 from the free throw line. So you lost time, and he didn't convert either free throw. Tough possession there for Leahy-Holloran. Hart with the up and under, gets it to go. Mary Kate Hart hasn't been able to knock down a three the last couple of minutes, but scores inside, extends the lead again to 12.
That's a really difficult finish there from Hart. Up and underneath the baskets. That's something she was working on in warm-ups with Allison Baker.
Tegan Fitzgerald unable to corral the loose ball there, so that'll go back to Leahy-Holloran. 1:23 left to go here in the second half. Hart so far the leading scorer for Tynan. She's got 16 points. She's also got 5 rebounds and 4 assists. So a nice night for Mary Kate Hart. Another good feed inside from Doherty, but it was Daly who was unable to convert. Hart looking inside for Washington, and Washington gets that one to go. So Mariah Washington converting inside. Caitlin Fitzgerald coming up with the steal.
And this game turned not on the missed free throws, but bringing Fitzgerald and Washington back into the game. Tynan's kind of solidified their defense. They're getting out in transition, and that's one of the big differences between these two teams. Tynan just is bigger, a little bit longer, and when they have all 4 of their core 4, they clearly are a better transition team.
Day knocks down that first free throw. Unable to hit the second. So you look at this Tynan team, and Mary Kate Hart has had a nice game. Obviously, Caitlin Fitzgerald, even though she got in a little foul trouble, has had a good all-around game. Mariah Washington can score and rebound. You've got 3 or 4 players. Tegan Fitzgerald contributed a lot. You've got 3 or 4 players who really know what they're doing on this Tynan 18 and under team. So this has got to be a team that we will try to look out for that possibly could make the BNBL championship. They sort of have some depth at the top of their roster.
Yeah, and a player that you and I both recognize the name, Grace Whalen, not available today. They have 5 players who weren't available today. I mean, it's the middle of summer, vacations, this, that, and the other, but this isn't even their full squad.
Doherty gets fouled on the way up. She'll get a couple more free throws. She's been perfect so far tonight from the stripe.
And whether they make the championship this year or not, as I think that's going to be the 5th foul on Caitlin Fitzgerald, which doesn't matter with 10 seconds left. This is really going to help them not only for when they play together for CYO and next summer. This is going to help them for high school. When you're playing high-level competition with these other teams in the city, this is going to really improve your game when you play better competition.
And Doherty 1 for 2 that time from the charity stripe. That's her first miss of the game. So the Tynan taking home a win tonight against Leahy-Holloran as they defeat them 44-30 here at the Tynan Community Center in South Boston. And Seth, we mentioned both teams really moved the ball well, ran some good offensive sets, but it just seemed like Leahy-Holloran missed a few more shots underneath. And then you also saw the Tynan really do a nice job at knocking down threes from behind the arc, but also creating turnovers throughout this entire game.
Yeah, I think their ability to create turnovers and take advantage of those turnovers and the ability to offensive rebound. I mean, when you look at Mariah Washington, she was great at extending possessions. Same with Tegan Fitzgerald and Caitlin Fitzgerald. They just were able to use their size a little bit more, and that was a huge difference in this game. I think Leahy-Holloran missed some shots they probably feel like they could have hit, and that could have kept the game a little bit closer. But Tynan just more aggressive, a little bit bigger, and they were a little bit more confident after having played 3 games together already this summer.
That's right. They looked really good here tonight against Leahy-Holloran. So a nice game from both squads, but it was the Tynan who were able to take this one. Folks, going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have a player of the game and our game-winning coach right after these messages. Don't go away.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Each year, there are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe! Here we go, the butterfly. Ready? Ooh.
I am what hunger looks like in America. I am an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for the last day of school. Because this may be the last time I'll have lunch.
Till September.
I am a single father of 2 who works 3 part-time jobs. And that's still not enough to put food on the table. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering them could save you from having a stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Sometimes we can do things that exclude others.
You're still talking to your friend? It's complicated.
I think he went back in. We gotta go get him.
Welcome to Jumanji!
Even the smallest words and actions can have a big effect on someone. You have the skills. Because of you, someone's entire day, their year, or their life can change.
Remember, the future is in your hands.
Visit becauseofyou.org to learn more.
Totally, let's do it.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to the Tynan Community Center in South Boston at the conclusion of Game of the Week as the Tynan took down Leahy-Holloran 44-30. Really nice all-around effort from the Tynan. They got several players who were very effective tonight, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But it was really Mary-Kate Hart, especially in the second half, who really controlled the game, kind of took things over for the Tynan. She is our player of the game tonight, and she is with our sideline and announcing reporter Seth Orensky. Seth, take it away.
I'm joined by our MVP, Mary-Kate Hart, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Mary-Kate, you were in the gym 30 minutes before anybody else putting up shots, and you didn't hit that many of them, but you started hitting them later on. How much of a focus has it been to kind of get to be a better shooter, maybe this summer or throughout your high school career?
Since I've played in the league, I've always been focused on shooting, but the past 2 years I've been trying to drive a little bit more, but still shooting is my best so far, and it always has been.
How good did it feel knocking down some of those threes? They were able to kind of cut into the deficit, then you hit some threes, Mariah hit some threes, Tegan hit some threes to kind of push it back out.
Yeah, it definitely felt good, especially because they had a good zone defense, so it was hard to drive. And it was exciting when the bench was really excited when everyone shot, so it was great.
You told me off camera this is the oldest your group has been this year. How did that kind of help you when they were able to kind of tighten it up?
So a couple of the girls that I play AAU with, they're my best friends, so we play a lot together. So it was really nice to have all of us in one team today in order to really mold together and be our best. So it was great.
Well, congratulations on the victory and having such a good game. We'll bring in the coaching staff for Tynan. Danny O'Neill is going to field the questions. Danny, your first 3 games, 0-3. You played some of the better teams in the group. How did those games kind of prepare you for this game against the team where the talent level was a little bit more even?
Yeah, we know that the first 2 games, it was more of a struggle. We weren't evenly matched up. But coming into this game, not to be rude or anything, but we've seen that the playing field was more easier for us. And we knew that we could beat them. First of all, we feel like we can beat every team there. We're not scared of any team. We feel like we could beat them all. But today we had shots falling. We had great defense from Caitlin, number 5. Just playing defense on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. We almost blew the lead, but we came back and we stuck with it.
We've seen this Tynan team for a few years now, but 2 players who kind of stood out that we haven't seen play as big roles, Mariah Washington and Tegan Fitzgerald. How have those players kind of developed, maybe not even just this summer, but over the past couple of years since the pandemic started?
No, those girls are amazing. Mariah, she came in and she believes, she doesn't really have the confidence in herself yet, but we always tell her, if you have the shot, take it. just take whatever. It goes for everyone on the roster. If you have the shot, take it. We're not scared of missing it because we know that our defense is good enough to get a stop and we get the ball back and put it in the hoop.
Caitlin Fitzgerald didn't score in the first half, only came up with 6 points, but made a huge impact on this game. What does she bring for you guys?
Everything we need. Even if it's not scoring, on the defensive end, she's our rock. And we know that defense wins games, and she literally showed that tonight. We almost blew the lead. In the second half, we were up by about 15. They cut it down to about 7. But Tegan played great defense. Caitlin played great defense. Mary Kate made big shots. Mariah made big shots. It was just an overall solid team win.
Coach, congratulations on the victory. We'll send it back to the table and Pat.
Seth, thanks so much. And certainly, as the coach mentioned, as Seth mentioned, the Tynan haven't been flawless throughout the start of this season. They've lost a couple of games, but coming in, it seems like they've sort of gotten polished up before this game right here. So to see them execute the way they did, a few players getting some open looks, and also very aggressive defensively, creating turnovers. I'm sure that's what the coaching staff for the Tynan is really what they're looking for so far here in the BNBL season. Season's still young, but it goes by quickly because it is, of course, summertime. We're going to take a look at the halftime stats, or halftime. Where am I? It's the final stats here from the Tynan Community Center. And first up, it's going to be Leahy-Holloran. And then you see Doherty at the top there with 17 points. Really had a nice night. Shot the ball pretty well. Was excellent from the free throw line. Missed just 1 out of 8 free throw attempts, I believe. She had 17 points. Duffy chipping in with 8. But it was really not a lot other scoring from any other players. It was really Duffy and Doherty for most of the game. Duffy chipping in with 8 rebounds to go along with her 8 points. So nice floor game from her. Probably could have wish she probably had a few more buckets gone down. She had some threes that went around the rim and out. So Duffy, I'm sure, will have some other nights where she gets her shot going and she'll be putting up bigger numbers, but she had a nice game. Passia did a nice job on the rebounds. We saw her, especially in the first half. She had 5 rebounds in the first few minutes. So it really had a lot of nice hustle plays for Leahy-Holloran. And then Doherty chipping in with 2 rebounds, or 2 assists rather, with Passia also getting 2 assists. So it was really those 3 players that did most of the damage for Leahy-Holloran. Let's take a look at the Tynan's final stats here from the Tynan Community Center. And there you see Mary Kate Hart with the 16 points, Washington with 13. Both those players knocked a few threes down. I believe Hart had 4 threes on the night. Washington with 3 and a couple of nice buckets inside as well. Washington chipping in with 9 rebounds. So, we could have picked Washington as the player of the game. She really had a nice game as well. Tegan Fitzgerald with 7 rebounds. And then on the assists, you have Mary Kate Hart with 5 and Day with 2 assists. Caitlin Fitzgerald also had a nice game as well in this one. She didn't show up on the final stats, but she did a little bit of everything for this Tynan team. So fantastic job tonight for the Tynan as they take down Leahy-Holloran here at the Tynan Community Center. Folks, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Game of the Week as we continue to plow through this 2021 Boston Neighborhood Basketball League season. Folks, if you want to watch this game again, first up, you can go to our website, go to www.boston.gov/cable. Towards the bottom of the screen, there's a tab that says Game of the Week. You click on that and routes you to the video library. You can watch any game on Game of the Week on that website. You can also follow us on social media. Go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/GameOfTheWeekBoston. A lot of good stuff up on that site, including links to all the games we've done and also links to the live coverage of these games. We post an event that says which game we're covering. In that event, you'll see a link for YouTube. You can watch these games live as they're happening, both on YouTube or on your Boston City TV channel in your cable package. Finally, you can follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. We post updates all the time on what games we're going to be covering on Game of the Week on that Twitter handle, so make sure you follow us at Boston City TV. I want to thank our crew, as always, for doing a fantastic job here at the Tynan Community Center. We're going to say so long from South Boston. We'll see you next time on Game of the Week. Have a good night, everybody.